Why smart people stay poor, stuck, and unfulfilled. The smartest person in your class probably isn't the richest one today. In fact, they might be the one still trying to figure things out. The person who understood everything the fastest often ends up moving the slowest. And the reason is something almost nobody talks about. Some of the smartest people you know never become successful. Not because they aren't capable. Because intelligence can quietly become the very thing that holds them back. Maybe you went to school with them. Maybe you work with them. Maybe, if you are being honest with yourself, you see them in the mirror. Almost everyone has seen this play out. The student who finished assignments in minutes, who corrected the teacher's mistakes, who everyone assumed would dominate the real world. 10 years later, they're still figuring things out. So why does this happen? Why do people who clearly have the ability to succeed often remain stuck for years? The answer isn't what most people expect. In 2011, researcher Thomas Chamorro from Music published findings that challenged one of the most persistent myths in modern culture. His studies showed that IQ, while useful in technical settings, was a surprisingly weak predictor of real-world success. What predicted success more reliably were things like emotional regulation, tolerance for uncertainty, and the willingness to act without complete information. In other words, the very things that intelligence can quietly work against. Today, we need to talk about why, and what changes when you finally see it clearly. The trap inside the gift. Think of intelligence as a spotlight. It illuminates every obstacle in the room. But if you stare at the obstacles long enough, you forget to move. Your mind is extraordinarily good at generating reasons. Reasons to wait. Reasons to prepare more. Reasons the moment isn't quite right. Reasons why the plan needs one more revision before executing. And here is what makes this so difficult to escape. Every single one of those reasons is usually correct. The timing could be better. The plan could be more refined. The risk is real. A sharp mind can identify genuine problems with almost any course of action, because genuine problems exist in almost any course of action. But while the smart person is identifying reasons to wait, something else is happening. The less analytical person across the room is acting imperfectly, messily, with incomplete information and a plan full of holes. And they are generating something the smart person is not. Feedback, experience, momentum, progress. Action teaches faster than intelligence ever will. Intelligence without execution is just expensive imagination. Smart people often build perfect maps. But the world rewards the people who start walking. The mind that can see every problem in advance is also the mind most likely to never begin. The perfectionism prison. There is a specific way this trap tightens that smart people rarely see coming. It starts as standards, which feels like a virtue. High standards, careful thinking, refusal to accept mediocrity. These are genuinely good things. But somewhere along the way, standards become a prison. The business idea needs one more refinement. The conversation needs better timing. The project needs to be more complete before showing anyone. And so nothing launches. Nothing gets said. Nothing gets shown. Nothing moves. Meanwhile, the standard itself keeps rising, because the more you learn, the more you see what could be improved. The gap between where you are and where you think you need to be keeps widening. Perfectionism feels like high standards. It functions like paralysis. The people who move fastest are not the people with the lowest standards. They are the people who understood early that a good plan executed today produces more information than a perfect plan executed never. Done teaches you things that plan never can. And this is where the real pattern begins to reveal itself. The pattern. Intelligence solves problems. But success is rarely a problem-solving game. It's an action game. And the rules of an action game are fundamentally different. Speed matters more than accuracy. Iteration matters more than perfection. Starting matters more than being ready. Smart people often spend years playing the wrong game with extraordinary skill, getting better and better at a version of success that was never going to produce what they actually wanted. The intelligence trap in relationships and money. Wealth, in almost every form it takes, is a social phenomenon. The world does not reward the smartest person in the room. It rewards the person who can move the room. It flows through relationships, trust, negotiation, and the ability to make other people feel understood. The same is true for career advancement, influence, and most forms of meaningful impact. And many highly intelligent people are underdeveloped in exactly these areas. Not because they are unkind, but because their entire lives, intelligence has been the tool that solved problems. When something was difficult, they thought harder. The mind was the answer to most questions. But human relationships don't respond to analysis the way problems do. Trust isn't built through correct arguments. Influence isn't created through superior logic. Connection requires something different. Presence, empathy, the willingness to be uncertain in front of another person. Smart people often try to think their way through situations that require feeling their way through them. And the gap that creates, in careers and finances and relationships, is often larger than any gap in raw capability. The comfort of knowing. Knowing feels like progress. Understanding a concept feels productive. Execution is what actually changes your life. For intelligent people especially, understanding something produces a genuine cognitive reward. A small hit of satisfaction that mimics the satisfaction of actually doing the thing. This is one of the most insidious traps in the entire pattern. Because it means that smart people can spend years feeling like they are moving forward while standing completely still. The reading, the researching, the planning, the refining. All of it produces a sense of momentum that substitutes for actual momentum. And the gap between their capabilities and their results quietly widens year by year. The answer, when they finally see it, is almost always the same. They were preparing to live their life instead of living it. The turning point. At some point, the smartest people who escape this trap realize something simple. Intelligence was never meant to decide if you act, only how you act. That single realization changes everything. Because it doesn't require becoming less intelligent. It doesn't require lowering standards or abandoning careful thinking. It just requires putting intelligence in its proper place, not as a gatekeeper standing between you and action, as a tool you use after you have already begun. The shift is subtle. The results are not. What actually changes things? The decision that breaks this pattern is the decision to trust systems more than thoughts. It means building structures that produce action automatically, without requiring the mind to approve each step. It means committing before you feel fully ready, because fully ready is a feeling that intelligent minds are specifically designed never to produce. It means measuring yourself by what you executed rather than what you understood. The person who acts imperfectly and adjusts will always outpace the person who thinks perfectly and waits. Always. The last thing. The person at the beginning of this video is not failing because they aren't capable. They are failing because they have been using the gift as a substitute for something it was never designed to replace. Intelligence can show you the path with extraordinary clarity, but it cannot walk it. The gap between knowing and doing is not a knowledge problem. It never was. You are already smart enough. You have always been smart enough. The world is not run by the smartest people. It is run by the people who started. If you saw yourself in this video, tell me in the comments. And if you found yourself somewhere in this video, that's worth sitting with. Subscribe if you want more thinking like this. There's a lot more coming.